Hey there, welcome back. This video, I want to talk about what I learned at the Cholestatic Liver Disease Summit and how I think it relates to my version of PFIC. So if you watched my last video where I was talking about the people that I met Tessa from Mirum. They have a new drug called Liv Marley. Mirum is also the company that did my DNA testing. What she told me is that they look for 6 out of the 13 different types of PFIC. And so it makes sense that I probably didn't show up on their DNA test because it's only 6 of the different kinds. And also they're adding more kinds all the time. So I'm hopeful that I'll show up on the Yale study, which is a full genome test. So hopefully I'll be hearing about that soon too. What I also learned from, I think it was Dr. Richard Thompson when he gave his speech, or maybe when he's talking to me privately, but he validated that just because I wasn't on the Mirum DNA test, that I still probably have it. We talked about having the same colored socks, which normally a PFIC patient has 2 of the same sock. They're jeans, but they're just bad socks. They're bad jeans. They have 2 versions of that. Whereas I probably only have 1 bad sock and 1 good sock, but we don't know what color the bad sock is. So hopefully that makes sense to you, but that was a really dumbed down way of explaining it to me. So, and what he also explained is that the earlier that PFIC presents itself, the worse the disease is. So the fact that I made it to 38, 39 years old before being diagnosed is a better prognosis for me. Also, that my bile acids are not crazy off the charts like they are for the kids. That's why the Bylvay didn't work for me. Bylvay was the first, or that drug that I tried so hard to get on that ultimately didn't work for me. He said it made sense that it didn't work for me because my bile acids were not off the charts. So I thought that was interesting. I still don't really understand what he means by that, but he was much smarter than me. So if that's what he says, that's what he says. The kids itch so much. Like, that's the thing I didn't understand by reading things. Like, they talk about pruritus, which is the term for itching. Like, you get pruritus, you get, it's hard for them to grow. And what was the other thing? Well, so like the pruritus, you're like, okay, itching. No, this is like all day and all night itching. The one mom that I met has 2 kids with PFIC. They were sleeping in the same bed in the hotel room. The one was itching until 1 o'clock in the morning and then finally passed out, and the other one woke up and started itching. And I remember those nights of when I was pregnant of itching all the time. So if they itch as much as I itched when I was pregnant, I can't imagine going through being a child and just itching, because you literally can't control it. You're just itchy and no amount of scratching relieves you. So it was good for me to understand the level of itch that they have, because I now don't experience that level. It's much, much more mild, which makes sense because my bile acids are much more mild than what they have, but still, I still itch and they're still higher than they should be. And that's not good for my liver in the long run. But yeah, the sooner and earlier in life that PFIC presents itself, the worse off it is. So that was interesting to learn. I also learned that the Yale study, Dr. Villareno, the one that I had sent my DNA in a couple of months ago, she is like the gold standard for studying PFIC in adults. So I was really glad to hear that. And I heard that from 2 different sources, Emily at Cincinnati Children's, and then from Dr. Richard Thompson as well. They were both like, oh no, you're with her, you're you're good to go. She'll figure it out. So that was really nice. The other thing I had asked about was like liver health and general nutrition. So there was a nutrition side panel, and I believe it was hosted by a pediatric hepatologist. He's with, is it Texas Children's or Houston Children's? Somewhere in Texas, I believe. And the focus for the children is to help them with their calorie intake, because when the disease presents in a child, they are often unable to absorb certain nutrients like vitamin A and vitamin B, and it just kind of like everything just goes through their system. So they're constantly battling having enough calories to help them grow. Obviously, I am not in that category. But I wanted to know for like general liver health, should I be doing something? Should I be staying away from something? What, is something causing the bile acids to increase or not, or whatever? And the general response was eat clean foods, less processed foods, drink more water, exercise more. All of the things we should all already be doing anyway. Made sense to me. There's some Chinese medicine that they do a lot of milk thistle supplements, so that's something that I could try, but there's really no research on it. But I don't know, it's just a supplement to take. But I think generally working on my diet, just everything that I'm eating in a normal day, less processed foods, more clean foods, more whole foods, is definitely something that we can all work on, especially in this house. And then moving more, exercising more, and then, of course, drinking more water, which I go up and down with that. Sometimes I'm like, carry my water bottle around with me everywhere, and then I go weeks without it. So working on that. So that's all of what I learned and how it relates to me. So, but yeah, I learned a lot, and that's the most that I wanted to go there for, because even if when I go see my hepatologist, they aren't going to have these answers for me either, I don't think. They would have to get in contact with other researchers and doctors, I think, to really understand the depth of these things. So super glad I went. And then now I'm going to make a video on the different types of PFIC. Stay tuned for that.